I quit my job, but not for the reasons you might be thinking. I, like many people, stayed at a job that was extremely stressful for far too long. But when my health and my happiness and my overall well being, especially mental well being, were at risk, and when I started to feel physical ailments from that job because of the stress, because of the prolonged sitting, when I realized that the company cared more about the quantity of work that we did as opposed to the quality of work as a nurse or as an employee of any caliber, okay, a frontline worker, independent contributor, or even the leaders there. When I realized I was in a toxic culture and that things weren't going to change, even though I kept pointing out all of the things that needed to change based on my observation and experience and my years of helping companies change the culture of their corporations. When I knew that all of that was not being received well, when I knew that all of a sudden made me a problem child, when it started to wear on my spirit and my soul, when I started to feel like they weren't keeping the same energy for their employees to be mentally well as they were for the people we were taking care of, when I was doing well beyond as other duties as assigned, I realized, you know what? And on top of that, you give me an ultimatum. In that moment, I knew I needed to walk away and never look back. And that's exactly what I did. And I don't regret it 1 second of the day. It was the best decision I've ever made for myself. These jobs ain't loyal. While they will take everything from you, your years of loyalty and dedication, your experience, your expertise, they'll make you jump through the hoops with fire, go above and beyond. You'll do all of these things. You'll put in your sweat equity. You'll be dedicated. You'll be the best employee. You won't take off a lot from work unless you really need it. You'll practically have to be on your deathbed sort of thing. You have an impeccable record, no substandard reviews, none of that. But yet they will pin you as the problem no sooner than they can. They will find reason to make you believe as soon as you're not doing what you're being asked to do, as soon as you give any little pushback where they're not receptive of what you have to say, as soon as you're not joining in with the cooler talk, as soon as you're not being a part of the constant chitty chatty, culture and the gossip that goes on, as soon as you're not a part of their clique and their clan, as I like to call it, and they realize that, and you stand out because of it, that's when you know it's time to run. Those are red flags. That is definitely a great definition of a toxic culture, a description rather, of a toxic culture. And that's exactly what I was in, and I realized it much too late, unfortunately, because I was already in it, and I was getting paid well. It was a virtual position. So I love the fact that I can work from home. Now I couldn't work from anywhere remotely because I had to be hardwired in, but it was a very stressful position in that I had to work from not quite a call center, but similar to where you're stuck in a queue all day and you're answering phones back to back to back. And the calls that you're getting are calls that are from patients that you're working with who are experiencing some sort of crisis usually. They need help with resources. You're getting cursed out by staff members from other facilities when you're trying to help them help the patient. It's like, wait, who am I talking to? Are you the patient or are you the person trying to help the patient? And so just the fact that the rules were so rigid, there was no real flexibility. I had to adhere to a schedule that was made up for me. I had to sit for long periods of time with very short breaks, long hours. And there were ongoing trainings and meetings. And yes, I got paid well. Yes, the benefits were decent. Yes, yes, and yes to those things. But was it worth it? Was it worth me sacrificing my soul and sanity? Was it worth it compromising my health and happiness when my body is taking a toll, when my mental is taking a toll, and when they expect you to do everything that they say to do without really questioning what they're telling you to do? How is that politically correct? So I realized very quickly that this is not the place for me. This is not where I want to be. And it was kind of conflicting in a sense, because there were times where I felt supported and like I can go to my supervisors and managers, the leads. And then I thought we were making progress and getting somewhere on one hand. But then on the other hand, you'd feel this tension, this pull between you, right? When you get in a one-on-one call, or when you're in a meeting and you say something out loud to the group, or like you could just feel the tension, or you'd get a message through, Teams or Slack or whatever, ways we use to communicate, or an email, and it's like, well, damn, here I am doing all of this to appease to you, to impress you, to get a great review, a great performance evaluation. I'm a great employee. I don't give you any problems. I'm here every day. I do as you ask. I apply what I'm learning. I'm not skipping a beat. I'm not missing meetings. I'm participating. I'm a team player. So what the hell is your problem? I'm serving our population of patients. You're listening in on the calls. And still, you're monitoring my screens. And still. So I say all that to say that when your health is involved, and when your happiness is involved, and when your peace of mind is involved, when your energy is feeling depleted, when you're starting to feel not just stressed out, but burned out. And by burnout versus stressed out, I mean, it's not just the current situation, it's an accumulation of the situation. It's the ongoingness of the situation. Do you know what I mean? When you constantly have somebody in your ear about what more you can be doing, as if you're not doing enough already. When you have to ask permission, if you're there every day and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and they haven't caught you doing anything outside of that you ever received a corrective action for, or a process improvement plan, or a substandard review, why are you questioning me? It's like you being a person of color going into a store where there aren't people of color, and they're so busy watching you to see what you're about to steal, because they have this, you're put in a category, you're stereotyped, right? Watch the black person, watch that person right there. She looks like she might steal. Meanwhile, your non-melanated counterpart walks into the same store with a big old bag, taking everything off the shelves, putting everything in the bag, but you're watching me. That's the analogy I'm going to use here. You know what it felt like for me? So here's the thing. I got to a point where I was in a lot of pain, physical pain. The stress and the tension and the environment itself was starting to be so toxic and so stressful and so, I just felt on edge all the time, all day. Everything was timed. Everything was a limit. How long were you on the call? How much did you say? How many calls did you take? Everything, it was about metrics. And so I was like, well, why are you asking me all these questions? If you're listening to the calls, you know I gave a quality call. You know I gave my all, my attention, my full and undivided attention to these people. You know I took time to give them all of these resources they needed. You know I had to look up certain things that, to follow guidelines, to make sure I'm following the protocol, the policies, the procedures that are in place. I might have had to wait for somebody to be available to help me with a question that I had. Like, you can ask, why do you keep questioning me? And then when I give you real answers, you still dock me and say, well, we're going to need you to step it up a bit. In other words, you're the weakest link on our team. So that makes you feel really appreciated. Then you say to yourself, why am I bothering to do all of this? Why am I putting myself through this? So when it came to a point in time where I started to get really bad migraine headaches, have a lot of tension up here in my neck and upper back area, my shoulders, when I was going to massage therapy, and it was like the people who were like doing my deep tissue massage was like, wow, you have so many knots in your body. You really I needed to have them go in for like 2 hours, right? And do the hot stones and the warm towels and like really in a steamed room, like really work that out. I had to soak in like a hot tub. I needed to go do spa days all of the time as often as I could. I needed to go to do the infrared laser, what do you call it? I can't forget. I think it's infrared, where you're sitting like in a hot room. I can't think of the name right now, but I'll put it below if I can think of it in the comments. Anyways, I was doing the most, okay? I was doing a lot because I wanted to take good care of myself. I wanted to be able to, when I come back to work, like this would be something I would do over the weekend. And then on Monday I would come back and it would just be the whole thing all over again. It would just start over. I'm like, I can't, how often can I, I'm doing so much to take care of myself and to be well. But I was starting to dread going to this job day in and day out to deal with this crap. And then when it got to a point that the stress and the burnout was so bad, excuse me, and the pain was so bad, I had to take time off for myself. I had to. I was burning out and I was in a lot of pain. So they gave me hell about that. I took the time off, and then I was trying to heal on medical leave. And then when I was preparing to come back from that leave of absence, they didn't want to accommodate me. So I'm like, so you want me to go against my doctor's orders, even though you have what the restrictions are, even though you know that I'm having these real issues, I've given you the supporting documentation, and you are still giving me a hard time? Why? What did I do to deserve that? I've literally adhered to everything you're saying, and yet you can't accommodate me? So what happens when I come back and the pain is exacerbated because of the stress? Because the environment hasn't changed. I'm coming back to the same position. It's not like I'm coming back to a modified duty position. It's not like I changed roles and I have a less stressful position. It's not like I'm coming to work just part-time hours versus full-time. I'm coming back to the exact same BS that I left. So what makes you think that by you not accommodating me, that's going to help? So these employers will pretend that they are engaging in the accommodation process when they're not. What they did instead, in my situation, is give me an ultimatum. You either come to work as you are, without the restrictions back to the position you were in, or you don't. Jeopardize losing your job. And I said, you know what? In that moment, I felt like I had finally gotten away from the corporate plantation. And Massa says, come back or else. Now, you know, if you come back, oh, those lashings are going to be deep. Oh, everything that they couldn't do to make your life miserable at that job before, they're going to damn sure do it now. Oh, if you were not considered a problem child or a problematic employee before, you going to damn sure be that now. And we're not going to treat you as nice as we were before. You're not going to be under the same protections as before. If you think we were calling you to have conversations about certain things, and as far as the metrics were concerned before, we really going to talk to you a lot now. In fact, since you don't have a substandard review, let's go ahead and prepare one for you. Let's find some reasons. We're going, you're a red flag now. You got a target on your back now because you've been gone a while. But come on back to the plantation and we'll show you something. That's how I really felt. And once I thought about that, I was like, y'all ain't gonna get me. God gave me a way out. And that ultimatum pushed me. They were trying to use the ultimatum to push me against the wall. And I decided, I'm out. This ain't for me. This is not where I want to be. I found an escape route, and I wanted to take as many people with me. Some other employees had already found their own way. Now, I don't know if they got caught or not and were brought back to the plantation, okay? The couple people that I was in contact with were able to get away, but they had to hide out. Okay, I just was like, I'm going to get away. And now that I've gotten away, I'm not looking back. So I had to use that analogy because we are, in a sense, very much so, not even in a sense, real talk. We are experiencing right now modern day slavery in these corporations. And if you're not careful, and you let fear hinder you from leaving, instead of devising an exit strategy and an exit plan and implementing that as soon as possible, and instead of diversifying your income stream, so when the day comes that something like this goes down, you're well prepared financially so that you don't lose that stability that you're used to without, because right now you don't realize you don't need that paycheck to paycheck gig. You can kick that to the curb. But oftentimes you're too afraid to leave because you think you got it so good. And at this age, if you're over 40, if you're in your 50s or beyond, you think, who's going to hire me at this age? I don't want to start over. I don't want to have to learn something new. I don't, you tell yourself it's not that bad. I can tolerate it. I'm not going to let them push me out of here. Why not? Let them push you on out of here. Good. Thank you. You did me a favor because I was looking for the nearest exit route and I couldn't find it because y'all hit the signs. You've got to create your own exit strategy, and you've got to do it now, especially right now with all of the layoffs going on, this political climate we're in. People are losing jobs left and right. There's the DEI rollbacks. I mean, my goodness, what other signs do you need to know it's time to run as fast as you can and never look back and not regret it? So I'm here to tell you, first of all, if you need help exiting the corporate arena and you don't know what steps to take, look below in the description and I have my quick start guide so you can transition seamlessly, smoothly. You don't need any more degrees. We already have enough of those. You won't be in any more debt because you're not going to pursue any more degrees, and you won't have any more disappointment by going to another job that is not, by the way, going to fix your problem. So don't do the job hopping thing. Don't go back for another degree. Don't get any more debt. Don't be further disappointed with all of the shenanigans, because corporate America is now the corporate circus, and I don't want you to get caught up in any of that. And I've done a video about that exact thing. So don't get caught up in the corporate circus, okay? It is not for you. Run fast and furiously towards your future. You can do better. You know how they say you can do bad all by yourself? You don't need that corporate job to help you do bad. You don't need them to stress you out and make you feel burnt out and tired and crazy and losing sleep and not eating well and be all consumed and coming home to, you already live the experience when you go to work, and then you leave there and you can't let it go because it's all you're thinking about. And then you dread going back the next day and you do it all over again and again and again and again, Monday through Friday No, stop. You don't deserve this. You deserve better. And I am here to tell you, you deserve better. So if you need help customizing a plan, you can get on a call with me to do that. Again, link is in the description. It's also a link in the quick start guide. So if you download your copy today, you have an opportunity to also get on a call with me, and you'll have that guide in hand. So you already will have started the process. Girl, I'm telling you right now, you don't need to wait. Don't procrastinate. Do not hesitate. Don't wait for it to be too late, because there is such a thing of too late. If you don't do something about this now, and you be in the driver's seat of your destiny and your destination, they can pull that rug right from underneath you at any time, because most companies are in an at-will state, and at-will means they can terminate you, discharge you, boot you, kick you to the curb, hand you the pink slips, your walking papers, discharge you, lay you off, and all the things anytime they feel like it, whenever they so choose, when they get ready, when they get good and ready to let you go without any fair warning. And guess what? They ain't about to give you a 2-week notice like they expect you to give them. You are gone, Gone, today. Just like magic. Poof, gone. Here's your box. Please give us the keys and your badge. Thank you. We'll have security walk you out. So just know that if you're in a predicament like I described, or maybe it doesn't have to be the exact or similar scenario, but it can be whatever it is you're going through, it's time to think about how you're going to leave the workforce and never look back. Okay? Especially if you're someone like me who was a high salary earner, you might tend to wonder, but what about your pay, and what about your benefits, and where are you going to get the money from, and can you replace your income? Yes, you can, and you absolutely will. Get my quick start guide so that you will know exactly what steps to take, and get on a call with me if you need to. Okay? If you found this to be valuable, I want you to share this out with 3 of your biz besties, somebody you know who's going through something like this or anything similar, or whatever their own scenario is. We all have our own scenarios, okay? We're all in our own journeys, but you can relate and resonate with this, because I know that you've been dealing with something similar to this, or you wouldn't be watching this video. So share this out with 3 people who need to hear this message today, and be sure to give me a little wink by giving me a thumbs up. Okay, let me know in the comments what resonated with you, what pulled on your heartstrings, what was a light bulb moment for you, what was the biggest aha or takeaway message from this video. I would love to hear from you. Are you in a situation like this? Have you been in a situation like this? Are you trying to get away from a toxic job, a hostile work environment, or simply just want to get away from corporate because it no longer serves you? You know, you've outgrown the corporate building, as I like to say. You're just done and over corporate in the grind, and you're just ready to leave and do something bigger and better and bolder. Well, if that is you, I would want to really hear from you, because I want to help you to take the next steps, okay? Now, I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to watch the next video that YouTube recommends. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.